Did you know that it is possible to increase testosterone naturally with just 7 minutes a day? Discover in this video the simple and powerful method that has changed the lives of thousands of men after the age of 60. In this engaging documentary, we show the real transformation of those who overcame fatigue, regained their libido, and returned to live with energy. All this without expensive medicines, just with the right exercises, conscious breathing, and small changes in routine. If you're over 60 or know someone who is, this video could change everything. Watch to the end. You don't need a gym or hours of training. 7 minutes. That's all that separates you from real transformation. At age 60 and up, testosterone isn't just about desire or libido. It's about vitality, memory, muscle strength, and even disease prevention. And what no one told you is that there are simple movements, done at the right time, that naturally activate the production of this vital hormone. Moves that anyone can do. And you're going to learn now. But first, let me show you what happens inside your body when you start moving for just 7 minutes a day. The clock was 7 hours and 25 minutes in the morning when Mr. Edmar, 65 years old, a former civil servant, went down the stairs of his house and went straight to the porch. No expensive sneakers, no fancy mat. Just him, his body, and a chair. For years, Edmar believed that his fatigue was normal. That discouragement, loss of muscle mass, and even a drop in sexual desire were part of age. But the truth? None of that was inevitable. His body just needed a stimulus. And that stimulation began with 3 movements, 3 minutes, repeated in the morning, with the right breathing, with the right focus. Science today confirms it. Physical stimulation, even of short duration, triggers a natural release of testosterone in men over 60 years of age. And more important than duration is constancy and the way you move. The secret is in the big muscle groups: legs, chest, back. When you activate these muscles, you send a message straight to the brain. I'm still here. And the brain responds with hormone production. But we're not talking about weightlifting. We're talking about 3 series of simple movements: the chair, the active stretch, and the isometric contraction. First, sit down and get up from the chair with control. For 1 minute, at a steady pace, keeping your arms extended in front. Second, stretch with tension, holding your arms back and pulling your scapula, taking deep breaths. And third, pushing your palms against each other hard for 30 seconds. Then, repeat. Thrice. 7 minutes. In the end, the body warms up, the blood circulates, and the mind clears. The results are not only physical. In a few days, Edmar realized that he slept better, that I no longer woke up with that feeling of eternal tiredness. In 2 weeks, the lower back pain decreased and the mood increased. And it wasn't magic, it was consistency. The human body, even after the age of 60, is highly responsive when it receives the correct signal. And if this signal comes every day, even if in small doses it responds. The point is, what you do every day makes or breaks your hormonal balance. If you spend all day sitting, eating poorly and not moving, your body understands this as a request to disconnect. But if you move your muscles, even for a short time, you activate the hypothalamic pituitary gonad axis, the system that regulates testosterone production. And this system does not understand age. It understands stimulus. However, there is a common mistake that prevents results: a lack of mental activation during exercise. It's no use just making the move. It is necessary to be present. Feel the muscle contract. Breathe with awareness. Visualize the body waking up. This enhances the effect. And that's why the 7 minutes need to be yours. No cell phone, no distractions, no guilt. It is your time to reactivate what never died: your energy. Edmar did not run marathons again, nor did he become a bodybuilder. But today, at 65, he wakes up before 7, prepares his coffee with eggs, avocado, and olive oil, and then activates his body. In less than 10 minutes, he already feels his blood circulating, his brain focusing, and the willingness to face the day. This simple ritual took him out of the cycle of apathy, and it can take you out too. The next step is to understand how food directly influences hormone conversion, because there's no point in producing testosterone if it's being blocked by wrong habits. The body speaks, but he also listens. And when you start moving, it asks for more. More nutrients, more balance, more support to sustain what is being reactivated. But there's a problem. Most people ignore it. They think that exercise alone is enough. But the truth is, without the right foods, your testosterone can go up for a few days. But it doesn't hold up. And in some cases, it plummets even more. Edmar understood this in his fright. In the third week of his new routine, he began to feel a little more tired. I woke up well, did the exercises, but by mid-morning I was already out of focus. That's when her doctor, an experienced geriatrician, asked her a simple question: "How's your plate?" The answer was common: coffee with white bread, sometimes margarine, a little milk. No good fat, no real source of protein, and worse, a silent excess of sugar hidden in biscuits and cereals. This dietary pattern directly affects testosterone. Because this hormone needs raw material to be produced, it needs zinc, vitamin D, healthy fats. It needs good cholesterol, the one that comes from eggs, olive oil, avocados. Without this, the body has nowhere to get what it needs. Edmar has changed. The first change was for breakfast. 2 eggs cooked with extra virgin olive oil, half an avocado mashed with lemon and flaxseed, and a slice of grilled chicken breast. In place of pure black coffee, a ginger tea with turmeric. Within days, the difference was remarkable. Mood stabilized, energy was maintained throughout the day, and mental clarity increased. The reason? These foods not only help the body produce testosterone, they prevent it from converting into estrogen, the hormone that, in excess, sabotages male vitality. But beware, there are 2 foods that seem harmless, but are silent enemies of testosterone. The first is refined sugar. Every time you consume too much sugar, your insulin levels go up. And when this happens, the body interprets that there is excess energy circulating and decreases testosterone production to avoid overload. The second is trans fat. Present in cookies, snacks, and ultra-processed foods, it silently inflames cells and impairs hormonal communication. In other words, you may be doing the right exercises, but if you keep eating wrong, you're going in circles. Another important secret is hydration. Few people know, but dehydration directly affects hormone production. When you drink too little water, blood volume decreases, nutrients circulate less efficiently, and the kidneys work poorly. This generates a ripple effect that can reduce up to 30% of natural testosterone production in men over the age of 60. Therefore, Edmar started to consume at least 2 liters of water throughout the day, starting with a large glass when he woke up. But perhaps the most decisive point in Edmar's transformation was understanding that testosterone is not just a number in the exam. It is the reflection of a lifestyle. When he started sleeping better, reducing stress, and cultivating moments of pleasure and purpose, everything changed. His body responded, his mind cleared, and his self-esteem was reborn. And that brings us to the next step. Because there is no point in a strong body and a correct diet if the mind remains stuck in the past, fear and emotional fatigue. That morning, Edmar woke up different. It was not the strength in the body, nor the firmness of the steps. It was silence. For the first time in a long time, he didn't feel uneasy when he opened his eyes. There was not that deaf anguish of those who carry old fatigues. All was quiet. He sat on the edge of the bed, took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and just stood there for 7 minutes. It may seem too simple, but this was the turning point. During the previous weeks, Edmar had changed his physical habits, adjusted his diet, and drank more water. The results began to emerge: more disposition, improved sleep, libido returning naturally. But something was still missing. The mind was missing. And it was at that moment, when he decided to do a small guided breathing practice every day, that his brain began to really talk to his body. Testosterone is not just a hormone linked to the physique. It influences mood, courage, decision-making. And all this depends on the emotional state. When you live under constant stress, with stress, anxiety, or ruminant thoughts, cortisol, known as the stress hormone, rises. And high cortisol inhibits testosterone production. Simple as that. Therefore, those 7 minutes a day of deep breathing became a real medicine. Edmar sat with his spine erect, inhaled deeply through his nose for 4 seconds, kept the air in his lungs for another 4, and exhaled slowly through his mouth for 6 seconds. He repeated this cycle for 7 minutes. As the days passed, he began to feel the difference. The nights became quieter. Digestion improved. Joint pain has reduced. But the main thing, he started to smile more, speaking with more presence, to listen better to his wife, his children, living. And that's when the transformation is complete. It is not enough to increase testosterone. It is necessary to relearn how to live with it. Use it to regain enthusiasm, clarity, inner strength. Edmar started walking every day after lunch. He created the habit of giving thanks before going to sleep. He rediscovered the pleasure of listening to an old song and writing letters to distant friends. Small acts that added together reactivated something that had been erased for a long time, the joy of being alive. Today, when looking back, Edmar does not talk about testosterone as if he were talking about a medical exam. He speaks as if he had recovered a part of himself, and she leaves a message for those who still think that age is a limit. What gave me back my energy was not only the exercises, nor only the food. It was the sum. It was deciding every day that I deserve to feel alive. You deserve it too, and it can start now. With 7 minutes a day, a simple move, a more nutritious dish, a conscious breath. Because vitality does not depend on the time that has passed. It depends on the choices you make starting today. If this content made sense to you, share it with someone who needs to regain the energy to live. And if you are not yet subscribed, take the opportunity to subscribe now to the channel and activate the bell. Every week, transformative videos for those who know that aging can be synonymous with power, health, and vitality.